The flight, piloted by Captain Sajjad and First Officer Usman Azam, took off from Lahore at 13:05:10 and was near the end of its 90-minute journey when it crashed at around 14:45, 9:45 UTC, to the densely populated neighborhood of Model Colony, so around 3 kilometers, 2 miles from the airport. The aircraft's wings were reported as being on fire moments before the plane crashed into the rooftops of the houses and buildings in the area, some of which caught fire. 13. The crash was captured on video by a CCTV camera of a nearby building, which shows the aircraft just before crashing into the neighborhood. 14. The aircraft initially made an aborted landing attempt, apparently with the landing gear not extended. 15. One of the pilots subsequently radioed air traffic control, ATC, reporting landing gear issues and the failure of both engines. ATC confirmed to the pilot that he was cleared to use either of the airport's 2 runways, requesting, "Confirm your attempt on belly." According to PIA's CEO, Arshad Malik, a technical fault prompted the aircraft to make a go-around rather than land, even though both runways were available. One of the pilots told the controller, "We are returning back, sir. We have lost engines." 12 seconds later, one of the pilots declared a Mayday emergency, which was the final communication with the aircraft. According to officials from Pakistan's Civil Aviation Authority, CAA, complications had arisen during the aircraft's first descent. 18. The landing gear was still in the retracted position when the aircraft attempted its first landing. Friction marks on the runway suggested there had been some ground contact. At the runway's 1,400-meter mark, the plane's left engine is believed to have scraped the runway. At the 1,700-meter mark, the right engine made contact. When the pilot went around, it is believed damage had already been caused to both engines from this contact, leading to engine failure after the go-around. This made it impossible for the aircraft to maintain altitude, causing it to crash during its return to the airfield. 18. This is supported by the conversation between the aircraft and air traffic control, which indicates that the aircraft was constantly losing altitude. Observers noted that the plane's ram air turbine was deployed, which supplies power to the aircraft's control systems when both engines have failed and without the auxiliary power unit, APU, running. 18. The Economic Times, citing a report from air traffic control, reported that the pilots had ignored warnings from air traffic control about the height and speed of the aircraft on approach. At 14:30, the plane was 15 nautical miles, 28 kilometers, 17 miles, from Karachi at Makli, flying at an altitude of 10,000 feet, 3,000 meters, instead of the recommended 7,000 feet, 2,100 meters, when ATC issued its first warning to reduce altitude. Instead of descending, one of the pilots responded by saying that he was satisfied with the descent profile. When only 10 nautical miles, 19 kilometers, 12 miles, from the airport, the aircraft was at an altitude of 7,000 feet instead of 3,000 feet, 910 meters. ATC issued a second instruction to turn to descend. One of the pilots responded again by stating that he was satisfied and able to handle the situation and that he was prepared for landing. 19. The captain had a flying experience of 18,000 flight hours, including over 4,000 hours in the A320 family of aircraft. To 20, the narrow streets and alleys comprising the area impeded the rescue services. ISPR, the Pakistani military's media wing, reported that special forces of the Pakistan Army and Pakistan Rangers had set up a cordon. Video footage